A mentor of mine once said, Jamie, the problem is never the problem. The problem is how you think about the problem. That's the problem. And for many years, I would puzzle over that statement. The problem is never the problem? What the heck are you talking about? What do you mean the problem is never the problem? The problem, of course, is the problem. And I would go over and over, and I would kind of sit there and think and ponder and meditate over that saying that they gave me. And then it finally hit me after many years, because evidently I'm a very slow learner, that what I believe that my mentor was saying to me is that our perception of the problem is what the problem is. So let me give you an example. When I first started my practice, like many people, I had difficulties generating enough patients. I could generate patients for myself through word of mouth, but as I started to hire other PTs, I had difficulty generating enough new patients for everyone. And I would, say that, well, it's because there's a lot of competition out there. If we were slow in a particular month, I would say, oh, it's because it's the winter, or it's the summer, so it's vacations, it's a holiday. Like, I would always come up with reasons why we were slow, because frankly, it kind of made me feel a little better about myself, because I already was overwhelmed and stressed trying to build the business. So I guess subconsciously I was like, well, let me justify why it's slow. And then, of course, eventually I had to look in the mirror and say, you know what, maybe it's slow because of what I'm doing or not doing. And I share this with you because my perception of why it was slow was the biggest problem I had to address. Because if I keep saying it's slow for other factors that really have nothing to do with me, they're outside of my control, well, then it never led me to actually do anything about it. It never moved me to actually fix the real problem, which was I didn't know what to do. I didn't have systems in place. I didn't know how to look at potential people and prospects and patients, how to engage with referral sources and doctors. And I mean, that was the problem. I didn't have any system in place. I didn't have a marketing strategy or campaign. But my perception was it was all of these other factors. So, as I said before, the problem is never the problem. The problem is how you think about the problem. My greatest challenge, which is how I thought about why we weren't busier and how to generate referrals. And I started to look at other aspects of my business, really other aspects of my life. But focusing first on the business is, what else is my perception blinding me to see? What else is my bias around something? And I started to look at hiring, because there was one time in a 1 year span in my business, in my practice, I went through 25 employees, either them quitting or me firing them. I went through 25. And what's interesting is I only had a business of 7 employees at the time. So it was almost 4 times the number of employees that I went through in 1 year. So after a while, it dawned on me that maybe the problem with hiring wasn't there wasn't good people, which of course I told myself. Or maybe there's just not enough physical therapists out there. Or maybe, you know what? In my area, there's just a lot of competition and there's just not enough PTs that want to come see me. Whatever I said was not the reason why I didn't have a therapist. The problem, the real problem, was my perception. It was my false belief, thinking that was really the issue when, let's see, I didn't particularly have a clear step-by-step system to hire people. I didn't follow any consistent way to recruit people. Usually I hired people out of some type of desperation of, oh my God, someone left and I really need to hire someone. I didn't think through values or principles or anything like that. And that was the real issue. The real issue is I didn't have any of those things, but my belief did not let me see that was the problem. I only saw what I wanted to see. And usually what I wanted to see was an excuse of why I wasn't hiring better people and keeping and retaining. And I realized the real issue was me. And once I accepted that, I started to search out to how I can overcome some of these belief challenges and some of these strategies to do it. And once I did, amazing what happened. Started to attract really great people, started to build the business, create a team, create a culture that allowed me to back away on some of the day-to-day stuff because I had a great team, which then allowed me to create really an amazing practice that I really loved and to have the life I deserve. So the problem is never the problem. The problem is how you think about the problem. That's the problem. If you have comments or questions about this, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below.